New patch is live, and we're getting a lot of buffs and nerfs that I did not see coming. Mainly buffs, like even a Pyramad buff, as you saw in the title. So this patch should be live already as you're watching this video. I'm gonna start off with Onyxia, who has been a bad hero for quite a while. Got a change finally. Got buffed. Now it's still Avenge 4, but instead of 2 1 whelps, it's gonna summon 3 1 whelps. So the attack of the whelps just got increased by a 1. I guess this will make her slightly stronger in the early game, but in the end, I don't think it's gonna make her that much more playable. I don't think she will still see play in high ranks, but at least she feels like maybe worth taking some time if it's a good Avenge lobby. Other than that, don't get too baited by this Onyxia change. Ozumot, the newest hero, also got a change, but this is not a functional change. This is mainly just the wording, because it said upgrades after you sell a minion. Upgrades was a bit confusing, not everyone knew what it meant, but it is now changed to game +1/+1 after you sell a minion, which is the same deal, just, you know, a bit more clear. So Ozumot didn't get buffed or nerfed, still the same hero. Now Pyramad, this is something I don't think anyone saw coming, but it seems like they're finally listening to our advice of like just taking bad heroes that have been in the game for so long that suck and are just not great, and trying to buff them, make them more relevant. Pyramad is one of those that has been one of the worst for ages, and honestly I think this buff is pretty huge and might make him playable even in like decent ranks. So instead of costing 1 gold, the hero power is now free, and instead of giving +4 health, it's gonna start at 2 health. But every time that you don't use your hero power, it's gonna gain +1. So if you don't hero power on 1, next turn it will be 3 health, then 4 health, 5 health. But as soon as you start using your hero power, I think it stops scaling. It's a scaling hero power as long as you hold off actually scaling. And I think this is a super cool dynamic that we haven't really seen yet, because now you gotta make the decision. When should you start hero powering, or when should you not hero power? How much health do you want? Like, do you go up to 6, 7, 8 health? The issue is the longer you wait, the less early tempo you have, the more damage you're going to be taking, and later on in the game, the health buffs are less relevant. So the longer you wait, the more you kind of don't use your tempo hero power properly, but the earlier you start hero powering, the less actual value or stats that you get from your hero power. Now you can kind of work it out, right? If you hero power when it's +5 health, or you wait a turn +6 health, then you lose a +5 health buff, so you have to hero power 5 more times to gain that back. I guess you could do some math to try and figure out what the optimal turn is, but I think with Pyramad, from now on, you want a power level, you want to probably go 3-on-3 or even 4-on-4, just not use hero power. Let's say you go 3-on-3, then you can just buy cards and give +5 health a turn, which is crazy tempo. If you go 4-on-4, +6 health a turn onto whatever cards you buy, and you should be able to easily stabilize. So that's definitely how I'm going to try and play Pyramad. Will be exciting to see. Also, if you do enjoy patch updates like these, like right as they drop, don't forget to leave a like on the video, which is very much appreciated, and of course subscribe to the channel if you want to catch more of them. Tamsin, another very shitty hero right now. Now instead of start of combat destroy the lowest health minion and give it stats to 4 any minions, it will now just give it to 5. So there's one more minion that will get the stat buff from your hero power. I still don't think I want to play Tamsin. Giving your stats to 1 more unit is nice and all, but it still is not enough, I think, to justify using this hero power properly. But make of it what you want. Of course, the win rate is going to go up slightly. I think in lower ranks this might be pretty good still, because it's okay-ish tempo, but I don't see the application for this in higher ranks. Again, people are gonna say, oh, but look at Chroma Wing, and I mean, still. Those were the hero updates. I really wish we got more, because there's still a lot of bad heroes that I want to see changed, but this is a start, right? They're clearly looking at like worse heroes. I think the Pyramad change is the most interesting and best one. The Tamsin one I don't like much, because I mean, they just like upped it from 4 to 5, which is kind of a change that is not gonna address the issue of why the hero power is not that great, I think. Well, the Pyramad one is actually cool and interesting, because there's a lot of ways that you could play this. The Onyxia change I also don't think I like too much, but I'm really hoping that they look at other heroes now that are bad and actually try and rework the hero power a bit, and not just mess with the stats. Now there's a bunch of armor changes, so a bunch of heroes that now got more armor and a bunch of heroes that got less armor. I'm not going to go over all of them, because I don't think armor is incredibly relevant when picking a hero. I think it's somewhat useful, but I mean, I'm not going to sit here for 10 minutes and discuss that. Now, minion updates. We actually got a bunch of minion updates as well, which will shake up the meta. So let's take a look first of all at Bubblette, which has been an awful card. It doesn't see that much play, because it is a pretty overstated one drop, but it loses so much to many things. I remember playing Nomi, playing like a big Bubblette to end on, and then just losing to a ghoul, and it feels horrible. It's just a shit card. But it got buffed from a 2/5 to a 5/4. A 5/4 on tier 1. That's the same stats as 3 drops have. So that's kind of a crazy stat line. I definitely think that Bubblette maybe gets picked a little bit more now. Although health is more relevant than attack, like 5 attack or 2 attack in your early games sometimes doesn't really matter because of, you know, the minions on tier 1 that you're facing anyway. But still, pretty big body, you just, you know, it still gets countered so easily by a mummy, by alley cat, by Icky Imp. There's too many things that instantly pop it, so I still don't think it will be picked a lot, at least in higher ranks. I don't think it will have that much value to have a pair on the board or triple, but it's pretty big. Tarecgosa, this card, once it got nerfed, it didn't really see any play anymore, also because Tarecgosa combos are just too slow and there's a lot of poison that just ruins big Tareccosas with, for example, the Trickster combo, but it's now moved back to tier 3. So it was from tier 3 nerfed to tier 4, now back to tier 3, which I think is pretty interesting, pretty cool, because now if you have a spawn bot on tier 2 or Tricksters and you level to 3 and you find a Tarecgosa, you might actually pick it up because it's a 4/4 with potential more scaling, and then if you find a promo on 4, you can slowly snowball dragons again. So I think this is a huge change. This will make dragons good again. Dragons are in a bit of a bad spot right now because of how slow they are, so I like this. I think it's gonna change up the game quite a bit. Coldlight Seer was a tier 4 card, is now back to tier 3, so Murloc buff moving down a tier. I don't know what the decision making behind this is, because Murlocs are pretty good, but I guess. Shoal Commander got nerfed quite hard and is now a 1/2, moved or buffed to a 2/2, so +1 attack, I guess, just so it gets taken a little bit more. I don't think this is gonna make too big of an impact on Shoal Commander, honestly, because the effect is mainly why you play it, not really the base stat line that it has. Waverider, so that is the one that gives Spellcraft +1/+1 and Wind Fury. It's now buffed to +2/+2 and Wind Fury. So they're doing like small mid-game Naga buffs, because Naga mid-game especially isn't in that good of a position. You usually don't want to end up taking it unless you already have synergies on higher tiers, so I guess they're trying to have them become more relevant. Create a Wrangler, so this card is the 5-drop, the 5/6 that after you cast Spellcraft on a minion, you will give it +2/+1. Is now a 5/7, so +1 health, minor change. But after you cast a Spellcraft, it will now give +2/+2 again. So that is a big deal. +2/+1 or +2/+2, the health is very relevant. It's kind of like the Lightning nerf we saw ages ago. Now I'm talking about like a year ago or something, where the 2/1 and the 2/2 buff are actually incredibly impactful. Like it literally killed Lightfang or made it a pretty good card. And I think we might see the same with Critter Wrangler. I think the card might see a bit more play now, especially since some of the mid-game Naga are a bit buffed, so you might be more likely to take them up for tempo. So we'll see, but I guess we got a tier 5 Naga scaling back somewhat. They also buffed Corrupted Myrmidon from a 2/2 to a 3/3. That card didn't see that much play because it's just a stat pile. You rather put the stats on the Divine Shield or onto a Cleave, or there's a million different effects that are better than just doubling the stats. Now it's, when you play it, at least a 6/6 and not a 4/4, so you might actually take it up if you hit it early. But still, I don't think this will really change the use of Myrmidon, which is mainly just if you're very weak and you need to stabilize, just dump all of your stats onto Myrmidon, hope it carries you to a top 4. And the last card they buffed is also a Naga, is Attessa, so the main scaling on tier 6. So they're buffing a lot of Naga because they're in a pretty bad spot after Siren was removed. Attessa was a 7/3 and is now a 7/8. That is it. Scaling wise, it works the same. It still only buffs 3 Naga instead of 4, which is what it used to be. But at least the base stats are better, so you can now take it without actually losing to a 1-drop. It can now trade twice or 3 times already, so hitting it doesn't feel as bad anymore. It'll actually have some, you know, base stats to build around and some health to work with. That seems to be about it. Now, these are a lot of big changes and meta changes. I will be playing in a tournament as well tomorrow, and depending on if I qualify or not, Saturday against some of the best players. So if you want to see this full meta in action and see all of the new heroes and how maybe Naga are playable again at the highest level, be sure to tune in on Twitch, which is Friday and Saturday, or at least Friday. Maybe I don't advance, and I'm gonna try hard quite a bit, so I hope to see you there. Hope you enjoyed these patch notes. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next upload. And if you want some hero tips from literally the rank 1 player in Americas at 15k MMR, click on the video on the screen right now.